Look at us.
So,
Early birds get the show. Haha. I'm eating a cookie.
oh,
Well, I do my show, which I don't like to do. I like to chew and do show, but I can't help it today because cookies sounded good. So, yeah, here we are. Look at us at noon. I've already been up, did my bills, changed the string in the weed whacker, cut up all the boxes and put them in recycling, had breakfast, planned my workouts for next week. I know.
um, Duncan and I got up. We went for a walk. We had breakfast with friends.
Nice.
Not as much,
I
but
know.
yeah, did a few things.
And here we are still, and I have tons to do. I have to uh, trim the shrubs this afternoon and weed whack the stuff I couldn't weed whack the other day because I ran out of string. Stuff like that. Then I have to go to book club. Well, it's not really book club; it's a book exchange.
Mhm.
So dinner and book exchange.
Fun.
Very excited about that. So yeah, happy last day of May. May is already basically over. Tomorrow's June,
I know. I kept saying next month, tomorrow.
otherwise known as tomorrow.
Mhm.
I know it's amazing how fast June and July evaporated. Like you and I have so many things planned for this summer. Like
Mhm.
June and July is gone. I'm like, don't even ask because I'm busy.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I know.
What are you doing in July?
Starting this week.
I don't know. Unless you want to be on a 5K with me, I can't help you.
Yeah. So if you want to come running with me or supporting me on a run by biking next to me and telling me to move faster, go faster, then that's what we're gonna do. That's how you're gonna spend time with me. You're gonna spend time with me by going on a walk or a run and then eating afterwards. Done.
Exactly.
That's all
Perfect.
there is to it. So, yep. So here we are on a Sunday. It is the last day of May. It's beautiful outside. In fact, Michigan Storm Chaser says we're crossing back into drought. Yay! I know. I was looking at the extended forecast. It's shocking how little rain there is in the forecast already. I'm like, well, that took no time at all because we had literally one of the wettest springs on record, and then all of a sudden it was over, and now we are looking at one of the warmer, drier Junes in the future. So it's like,
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
big on watering. I'll
Yeah.
water my plants, but I'm not a lawn waterer because I don't like to spend the money on that, and it'll just go dormant and then come back again next year. So, but that's, you know, I know people get all uptight about that, but anyway.
Yeah. I
So
have too
yes,
much,
we are here. Say that again, Ann Brothers.
I had too much lawn to water, and I would never do it anyway. I was like, I've never watered
Correct. Yeah. Well,
it.
I mean, grass is the largest non-productive irrigated crop in America. So, good job, America. So
It's
dumb. Okay. Anyway, there's other things you can do besides grassing, but we bought the house and the lawn came with it. So, and if you're trying to take apart a lawn, it's not easy. So,
I know.
anyway,
I've been working on taking one apart for 10 years, and it is not
I know
easy.
it is not. Grass is yeah, grassy.
Tenacious. It's
It is
tenacious.
very tenacious and is not easily killed. So,
Mhm.
such as like the woodchucks in my backyard who are now trying to dig under my house. So, yes, gonna have to get tough. I'm gonna have to actually kill some woodchucks. Ugh. Anyway, all right. So we're talking about Carla Hall today, and the reason we're talking about Carla Hall is because I'm trying to win her contest. She does this contest every year in the summertime. It's the basically what she does is if you win the contest, it's you get $25,000 and you get to hang out with Carla Hall, which I would love to do because she's amazing. But I thought it would be fun. My chances of winning the contest are not great because you have to work really hard and be super ambitious and super savvy on social media, things that I'm not super good at. So, we'll
So,
just take it one day at a time. One week at a time, one portion of the contest at a time. I won't get ahead of myself, but then again, why not me? So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, it occurred to me that we've never really talked about Carla Hall, which is a shame because she's literally one of my very favorite celebrities, personalities, celebrity chefs, whatever you want to title her. She's so much more than just a chef, though, that I thought it would be fun to talk about her today. So that's what we're talking about. So, Anne, shall we get to it?
let's do it.
Let's do it. Here we go. All right. And you want to take us through our opening salvo?
Yes, I will. We are Anne and Janice Brothers. We're sisters. Our last name is Brothers. In the 1920s, we would have been a vaudeville act. We've been
Mm.
traveling
Um,
to, mid-sized theaters all over the country, doing our tap dance comedy routine.
I think I would have also added being a ventriloquist on there. I think that would have been a lot of fun. "Hey, a little
Oh
tiny
yeah, we could have done it together, or we would have been like the half and half dancers, Jenny, or something, like
Ooh.
half male, half female, that sort of
Like we
thing.
did in Bra Strap. Remember we did that in Bra Strap
Right,
together.
exactly. So,
That's right.
we
Hmm.
would have we would have been all over the place. Starring the brothers, sisters, would have been
Marlena Dietrich, eat your heart out. Ha.
exactly. Exactly. So we're in our 50s. We're Generation X, which means many of us have stories about our parents ignoring our broken bones or our concussions until we finally bitched enough that they took us to the ER. I mean, I think most of us have some story. I know you've got a couple concussion stories. I have a concussion story. I think Duncan has a broken ankle story where he broke his ankle and his parents are like, "Ooh, that's real swollen. I guess we should take you to the ER like 4 days later."
For the record, and our parents never took us to the ER. Never.
That's true. That's honestly, yeah, we
And I can think of at least 3 occasions, maybe 4, where I was absolutely concussed.
oh yeah,
100% concussed. Well,
yeah,
yeah, I can think of 3 solidly, yes, 100%, and then 1 kind of like, maybe, maybe not. So, yeah, that's why I can't ride roller coasters anymore.
yeah. I had one bad concussion, the type where they shouldn't have let me go to sleep that night.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was in such bad shape. I'm like, well, just sleep it off. So
Yeah,
rub some
so
dirt on it. You'll be fine. So yes.
that's
So
fine.
Jenna, I think like I see a lot more kids like, oh, I had to take him to the emergency room because they had an asthma attack. And I'm like, that would have never freaking happened to a Gen Xer. Like, what? Kids
No,
didn't
because
have asthma.
emergency rooms are expensive and asthma's all in your head. So, there you go. Yeah, that's really funny. No, yeah, and the thing is, by the time I got to college, and I probably had 2 more concussions playing soccer in college, but because I never went any other time, I didn't go then. And the second one was bad. The second one I knew maybe my soccer playing days were over.
Mhm,
I decided I was going to go up for a header with a girl who was twice my height, who was like 8 feet tall. That did not end well for me.
mhm, mhm.
All I can remember after that was like I was up and then I was on the ground and I just sat up and I was like, you know how you sat up and everything just swims the wrong way, and I was like, shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was kind of a well, they're sitting up and talking, they must be fine.
They must be fine.
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
all have some story where our parents were like, let's see how this plays out before we get all excited and bent out of shape because the kid got hurt.
yes.
They're practically made of rubber bands. They'll just bounce back. So, and they're always like, hey, remember that one time where you thought you were sick and it turns out you were, but you were fine anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
we talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff, or any combination of the three. And unlike most podcasts, we are not cool, hip, or sexy. And we know this because the last time we were up past midnight, we were looking for rocks. So we weren't going to a rock concert or anything.
Mm-mm.
We were looking for rocks. And that was last summer. So I haven't stayed
And
away
for the
like
record, we found the rocks we were looking for. Okay,
exactly.
so
Exactly.
touche, everybody. So fuck you.
Yeah. So how hot and sexy are we now? Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah. Hmm?
Excellent. We are not a true crime, celebrity, or influencer podcast. We're the squirrel of podcasts. And that means that we talk about whatever has our attention in that moment. So, if you're looking for a focused, dramatic talk, we are not your middle-aged ladies for that. So sorry.
No, no,
Um,
we're too fun for that.
We're too fun for that. We've been told we're good to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff or when you're driving across the country on your summer road trip, which is coming up soon, and you need a podcast with a long back catalog to get you across Nebraska because we will help you get through Nebraska.
And we'll help you get through Nebraska because actually Nebraska is actually a kind of an awesome state. I know it doesn't seem that way, but when you spend enough time driving across Nebraska, you start to find things that are pretty
Mhm.
great about the state of Nebraska.
Yeah.
So who
So maybe
knew?
Kansas. Kansas is. I still haven't found too much to love about Kansas.
I despise Kansas. And if
Mhm.
I have to drive through Kansas, it means something has gone terribly wrong in Nebraska and I'm forced to drive through Kansas. Now, and we're actually going to change
Mhm.
that a little
I
bit
know.
this summer because we're going to be on purpose driving through Kansas on our way to New Mexico. So we're going to Kansas, now's your time to shine. That's all I
Yeah.
have to say. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's time to change my mind about Kansas
Yeah.
because, you know,
Yeah. Because we've
Kansas.
been
So,
we've been talking bad about you for most of our life. So here's your chance. And Jenny and I are fairly open people. You know,
mm-hmm.
we are willing to experience fun things even in Kansas. So,
So if you like Kansas, why
mhm.
don't you drop us a note and tell us why Kansas?
Yeah.
Okay.
What we should do in Kansas that would make us be like, yeah, Kansas. Okay.
Kansas rocks.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So this podcast is not PG or G or even PG-13 because fuck a duck.
I
Actually,
think I
don't
already
fuck
said
a
fuck
duck.
once during the show, maybe twice
Maybe twice.
already.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Sorry.
sorry,
Sorry.
but now you've been warned after it's already happened.
Yes. Correct.
You can join us on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Amazon Music. You can follow us, like us, hit the bell, leave us a review, give us some feedback with our questions and answers and our polls. And of course, there's always Alexa. Alexa, or what is the Midwest version of her? It's, oh gosh, what was it? Cheryl. The Midwest version of Alexa is Cheryl Lazinski. Because,
I think that's hilarious.
I think
Yes.
so too. Mhm.
Yeah. Alexa is a very exotic name if you are from the Midwest.
It
So,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, fun fact, my parents who are now Alexa users, they use her for her timer and stuff. They're kind of mean to her. So like, you know how it is where like you say Alexa and then you say what you want.
Mhm.
Well, they're like, stop Alexa. So they're very boomer when it comes to talking to Alexa.
Mhm.
So
They're not. Our parents aren't even boomers. They're from the silent generation, which is
yes.
pre-boomer. So
Yes.
they're, oh, what are the kitties doing? I hear kitties yelling.
Uh-oh. They're up to no good. So yeah,
Yeah,
so it's very funny to watch them try to navigate Alexa, and Dad can never quite remember the name too. So I want to get them the Alexa Silver, like
yeah,
for the Saturday Night Live commercial, because I'm like, they nailed that. They nailed that so hard.
yeah. Or Cheryl. They've been. Oh, remember that Cheryl who worked in human resources at Kirsch?
Correct.
Uh,
Accurate. So,
yeah.
hey, remember, you guys, sharing is caring. You can support the Brother Sisters for absolutely free. You don't even have to give us money. Just like, follow, subscribe, leave a review on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music. Interact with us in some way. Smash it. And then tell your friends to smash it as well. So there you go. All right. It's the time where we talk about the smart, dumb, fun stuff that happened this week. And let's start with you. Do it.
Well, today is the day of a blue moon. And that means two full moons in 1 month. So we had one, I think it was May 1st, and now on May 31st. So we're having our second full moon this month. In this part of this country, it's going to be gorgeous. So we should see it very well.
Nice.
So 13 full moons in the year of 2026, two of them in May. So once in a blue moon,
Nice.
that's where it comes from. Two full moons in a month. And, I tried to find out why they call it a blue moon. It started happening in about the 1600s. And actually, here's my theory. Not even a theory. Here's my guess. The color blue for paintings used to be made from ground up lapis lazuli. And
Mhm.
so it's super expensive to have in paintings, this color of blue. And so that's why it was a rare thing to see blue in paintings or blue in any sort of like fabrics or anything like that, true blue, because it was so expensive to do. So I think it was uncommon to see. So therefore, a blue moon was uncommon. That's just my guess. But
That's cool.
I know.
That's a pretty educated guess, Dan Brothers.
Yeah.
Excellent hypothesis and way to use supporting facts to support your hypothesis. I like
Yeah.
that. Well done.
Like sacre bleu, sacred blue. The only time you'd usually see blues is in religious paintings, usually on Mary, and they would actually, like usually the church was spending the money so that an artist could buy the lapis lazuli to grind it up and make it into the sacred blue. So there you go.
That's cool. I love it. What up,
Hey,
Heidi? How you
Heidi.
doing?
Good to see you.
Hmm? Glad you are with us, Heidi. Awesome.
Mhm.
Love seeing you.
Um,
Um,
And then I have another. I'd like to hype up a podcast that I sent to a number of people. It's a new podcast with Blair Braverman, and she's a dog sledder, and she's like an adventurer. She's a super cool person, but she has her own podcast now, and it's called "What to Carry, What to Burn." Her first two episodes were about Ada Blackjack, who survived quite a harrowing story. Fascinating. Jenny, did you finish it?
I loved it.
Mhm.
And now it makes me want to read the book about Ada Blackjack
Jenny, I
because
bought the book.
yeah, I want to
Yeah.
totally read that book now. I'm like, oop,
Mhm.
that's going right to the top of the list because
Yeah.
fascinating story. I think survival stories are fascinating
Mhm.
anyway because you are forced to reach deep into the bowels of human recovery
Mhm.
and I just think that's really interesting that when people can find that next gear to survive stuff that feels unsurvivable or
Mhm.
should be somehow unsurvivable. So yeah,
Yeah. So this podcast, "What to Carry, What to Burn," Blair Braverman, all of her podcast episodes are going to be on survival stories. So that'll be cool.
nice. Heidi says, enjoying the weather. Love to hear you both. Luckily, you both are one more than once in a blue moon. I like
Oh,
it.
nice, very nice.
Yeah,
That's excellent.
love it.
Um,
Mm,
Over the last week, I finished the book "Cloistered: My Life as a Nun" by Catherine Coldstream, and she spent 12 years as a Carmelite nun. I heard an interview with her on one of the shows on NPR, and I thought, oh, this should be interesting because who, what woman hasn't wanted to step back and say, I'm not going to speak. I'm just going to live, here quietly and, just be in, how many of us haven't like had that dream?
Oh, I dream that every day when I get up. As soon as my alarm goes off, I'm like, no, this is the day. This is the day I'm leaving it all behind to become a cloistered nun.
Yeah, exactly. So it's her 12 years as a cloistered nun, a Carmelite. And Jenny, I don't know if you know this, but we actually had a great aunt, or maybe it was a great great aunt who was a Carmelite over on mom's side of the family. One of her father's sisters, I believe, was a Carmelite nun.
I think I did know that. I just
Mhm.
can't remember her name.
I think it was
What was her
Francis.
name? That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I think
That's
it was.
right. Yeah, the
So
Carmelites were
anyway,
serious, man. The Carmelites, if you're gonna nun it, Carmelites are serious
yeah, and
about being
this,
nuns.
yeah, this was one of those very. It was fascinating. I didn't want to put it down. I was like, I was like, I finished it so fast. And then of course
Nice.
yesterday, my favorite saint, Joan of Arc. Yesterday was her feast day, so I celebrated by eating her croissants, of course, wearing my Joan of Arc T-shirt, and then I had a sticker of Joan of Arc, so I put it in my journal, and then I did a bunch of artwork around it. So Joan of Arc feast day. If you missed it, have some French toast this morning. Raise a glass of wine to one badass motherfucker.
Nice. Hey, speaking of stickers, I have to show you the sticker that Joe got me to put on
Mhm.
my new coffee cup. Can you read what this says?
I can't. What does it say?
It's Holly Hunter, and it
Mhm.
says lots of respectable people been hit by trains.
That is from "Where Brother, Where Art Thou?" Oh,
It's
brother,
from
where
Oh
art
Brother Where Art Thou? She's holding the baby, and it's when they're in the Woolworth, and George Clooney confronts her about telling their kids that he got hit by a train
It's brilliant.
instead of the truth that he had been in jail. So there
Yeah,
you go.
it's so
Anyway,
Coen Brothers that you have to have a sticker of it.
yes. So the fact that he found this as a sticker is the
Yeah,
greatest thing ever. So that's going on my new coffee cup. I wanted to share that with you.
that
So
is brilliant. Thank you.
yes. So that's one of my smart dumb fun things is this amazing sticker for my new coffee cup. And the other is the show Widow's Bay on Apple TV. So if you're not watching the show, and you don't have Apple TV, that's fine. Cycle it around. And once you get Apple TV, there's actually several shows on Apple TV you should watch. Put this one right at the top of your list, along with Ted Lasso and
Sir.
what's the
Oh,
the Pluribus and
Pluribus.
Severance.
Severance. That's it.
Yeah.
Not Severance. Yeah,
So
Severance.
these are some really great show. Widow's Bay, you guys, is has quickly become must-see TV for me. So here it is. It's a anywhere between a half hour and 40-minute show. It takes place on an unnamed island off of the East Coast, so it's a New England sort of island, kind of like a the mayor wants it to be the next Bar Harbor or Martha's Vineyard or whatever, except this island is cursed and haunted AF, okay?
Yeah.
It is this show is it has it all. It's funny, it's so scary. It has a fantastic cast. Jeff Hiller is in it though. He's being terribly underutilized.
Mhm.
It's the writing is so incredibly sharp all over the place. You have to watch it. I can't wait to rewatch it so I can see all these little things that I missed the first time.
Mhm.
And it's the first series in a long time that I cannot wait to see the next episode. That literally takes everything not to because we picked it up halfway. It's in the middle of its first seasons. There's 10 episodes. Joe and I have gone through episode 4, only because Joe got sick this week and we couldn't sit down and watch it together. So now I'm kind of like, sorry you're sick, babe. I'm gonna keep watching this, but I have not done that yet because I'm a good wife.
Well,
Anyway,
I just want to let you know that I've already gone past episode 4, and I just want to say that in episode 4 with what's her name, Pauline, is that her name?
it's either Pauline or Patricia. I can't remember.
Patricia. It's Patricia. Okay, when Patricia has the book, and at one point she's talking about the party, and there's a drawing, there's like a sketch, and did you see the cocaine?
Yes, that's the part. In fact, Joe is like, he's like, was that cocaine? So we
Right?
literally rewound it just so we could, like, that was totally cocaine. Oh my God.
That's what
So
we did
incredibly.
too.
And
We
then
did
I'm
too. I was
like,
like,
oh
oh
my
my god,
God.
was that lines of cocaine? And Duncan's like, yeah. It's like, you have to go back. He was like, yep.
Yeah. Just that episode is so great. And it's just like, you're like, oh, this is going to be bad. This is
Mhm.
bad. And then as bad as you think it's going to be, it's so much worse.
So much worse. And it's just like, and there's, that thing you were like, okay, what are those girls talking about? Those women talking about, those old women talking about. Anyway, there's so much of that kind of humor. There's little bits and pieces that you really have to sit and watch because there's so much little stuff on the sides that you don't want to miss.
Yeah, it's a really great show. And
Mhm.
I'm so Yeah, I read a review on it. It kind of got by me, and then I read a review on it on NPR not last week, but the week before. I'm like, oh, okay, I want to watch this show because they had such glowing things to say about it, and it's better than advertised. It's
Mhm.
like I said, one of those shows. As somebody who I like horror and I like funny horror the most of all, it literally checks every box for me as far
Mhm.
as TV shows go. I absolutely love it. So
And the
yeah,
cast, the cast
that's my
is
smart dumb fun thing.
exceptional. The cast, all these,
Yeah.
like not necessarily name actors, but actors that are so solid and so amazing, and you're just, excited to see them all together in this ensemble. It's brilliant.
Yeah. It is.
Mhm.
I'm super excited. I'm very pleased with Apple right now
Mhm.
for making this show. So
Yeah,
good job.
good
Smart
job,
dumb
guys.
fun. Put
Mhm.
it at the top of your list because it's worthwhile. So there you go. All right. So shall we talk about Chef Carla Hall?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I was thinking how to present her, and so I'm just gonna present her as if nobody knows who she is. Okay. So Carla Hall is one of my favorite. We'll call them celebrity chef personalities because she was in those early stages. She kind of hit the map back in like season 5 of Top Chef. And I don't remember what year that was. Let me find it. Season 5 Top Chef
It's when
when
Top Chef was really in its heyday.
Yeah, so it was 2008 to 2009. And this was I would say Top Chef really kind of hit its stride during seasons I'm going to say 3, 4 and 5. It kind of was at the peak of its popularity, and so we got to meet Carla during that peak season. So let's talk a little bit about Chef Carla Hall. We'll start with who she is. She's a chef, she's an author, she's a TV personality, she's a former model, she's an entrepreneur. She became a fan favorite on Top Chef, and she actually hosted a cooking show for a while called The Chew, and we'll get to all of those things in a minute. So she is, I would say, singularly unique in terms of who she is as a person and who she is as a chef, which is one of the reasons that I liked her immediately because I was obsessed with Top Chef. Those first few years of Top Chef, that's I couldn't wait for the next season of Top Chef. It was my favorite show for a number of years. All right, so as far as who she is, she was born and raised in Nashville. Carla Hall is 63 years old. Wait, am I saying that right? I thought I had that. Maybe she's 62. Now I have to. I thought I put that in the show. No, I can't remember. I hate it when I do stuff like that. She is 62. So she's 62 years old, and we'll talk more about her Top Chef time here in just a second. So she was born and raised in Tennessee, and so she was, raised in a family where cooking was a big deal. Southern cooking was a really big deal. She is very much influenced by her grandmother, Freddie Mae Price Glover, and she has lots of stories that center around her grandmother and her grandmother's cooking. Her grandmother did the Sunday dinner thing where everybody gathered at grandmother's house and they had Sunday dinners, and she was renowned for her mac and cheese and her smothered
Cornbread.
pork chops and bread. Yeah, and why don't you tell us the cornbread story?
Oh, it was just a silly story that I heard on NPR, and she was talking about when she was little that when she would get up like on a holiday like Thanksgiving, she would wake up and she's like 5 hours until cornbread, and then she'd be like 4 hours till cornbread, and then in the car 30 minutes till cornbread, and she would get to her grandma's house like, Grandma, where is the cornbread? And she was just, the cornbread was coming, and then she talks about eating all this cornbread, and it was just so cute. This little girl, just like timing her life was revolving around grandmother's
Which is
cornbread.
grandmother's cornbread. So and one of the things that she talked about is that food was very much an association for her when it came to comfort, celebration, and connection. And that's exactly how I feel about food. I know um, there are people that look at food as just something, nothing more than something to give them energy to go do their next thing. And I don't think of food in that way at all. Food is an experience for me. I love to eat. And one of the reasons I love to eat is because food is always a little different. Like even the things that you have that you like that are the same, there's something different about it every time you eat it. And I really love that about eating. I'm so excited that we are going to New Mexico for many reasons. And one of it is that I can't wait to eat there because the cuisine in New Mexico is one of my favorites and I don't get it very often.
Mm-hmm.
And that experience to be able to enjoy those flavors and when you taste something that's new for the first time or that you haven't had before, even if it's not great, like the time we had, for instance, the pickle gummies, which were horrifying, it's still an interesting experience that you can talk about and people can relate to this time that they really loved something or they can relate to this time that they really hated something. And that's one of the reasons that I think I connected so well with Carla Hall when she was on Top Chef because she talked so often about cooking with love. So there you go. Oh, look, it's my cat. Hello, kitten. She's like, I want to go out and do things. I know. Um, so, fun fact many of the flavors and dishes that inspired her later cookbooks came from her childhood experiences in Tennessee and the stuff that she was seeing in her own home and in her grandmother's home. But Carla Hall was not always a chef. She came fairly late to the game as far as a chef. She graduated from Howard University with a degree in accounting, spent a couple of years as an accountant, and hated it and was afraid that she was going to be stuck in this job that she hated for the rest of her life. So she did what a lot of people don't do. She's just, took a leap and went to Paris to become a model. So she modeled for a few years, Paris, Milan, London, and she was a runway model. So and you can some pictures of her I have put on here as a runway model. She's tall. She's 5'11", and just one of those people that is naturally lanky and thin. So, perfect model material. So she was a model, but here's the thing: while she was modeling, she was living with other models and often doing the cooking for them, and really liked it. So she stayed and did modeling for a while. It wasn't necessarily something she wanted to do long term. So she came back to the United States, and specifically she came back to the US, was kind of working with a group, kind of thinking about doing the accounting thing again, and still kind of doing some modeling. And then she started making lunches for people, like, um, and people loved her food so much that she kind of was like, "Oh yeah, I have a catering business." So, and kind of made that up and just, as far as, well, how much are these sandwiches? Oh, well, these sandwiches are this much. Sort of literally making things up on the spot. But her food was so good and people loved it so much that they kept asking for it. So she basically started something called the Lunch Bunch. And this was, she sold sandwiches and she made a living doing meals to offices and things like that, and got this reputation around Washington, D.C. as this really great cook. And she wanted to get better at it. So she enrolled in l'Académie de Cuisine, which was a culinary school, considered one of the best culinary schools in the US, in Maryland. Unfortunately, they went under, I think, in 2016. But she worked her way up through restaurants and kitchens. She became a personal chef for a while, which I don't think she particularly liked. And that led to her time on Top Chef. And that really changed everything for her. I'm going to talk a lot about Top Chef for the next few minutes because I love it so much. So, Top Chef was this show that came out on Bravo, and it was the first of the, and I still think the best of the cooking competition shows. So, all of these cooking competition shows that you see, um, basically, I guess to say that Top Chef was the first is wrong. Iron Chef was the first, then Iron Chef America, and then Top Chef was born kind of from that. And it became a phenomenon because people loved it, because it was up and coming chefs that were trying to make a name for themselves doing all of these chefy and then not so chefy challenges in order to become Top Chef. And the Top Chef prize was no joke. Top Chef prize was anywhere between 150 and $250,000. A feature in Food and Wine magazine, a feature at the Taste of Aspen, which is this huge um food extravaganza. So winning Top Chef is a big deal. So she was part of season 5, which took place in New York, and that was during 2008 and 2009. And this really changed things for her. Now, to start with, she did not do particularly well in the first half of the show. She was pensive. She was the oldest contestant. She's the oldest contestant that's ever competed on Top Chef. That wasn't like a Top Chef Masters or something, at 44. So she walked in. She didn't go to culinary school until she was 30, didn't join Top Chef until she was 44. And historically, Top Chef is not kind to older chefs. It's physical, it's demanding. Um, and the fact that she kind of waited around the middle for the first half of the season, and then something changed and she just kind of caught fire in the second half of the season. And one of the things that really worked for Carla Hall is she was one of the few chefs ever on the show that could make a decent dessert. So, and do you think you could turn your speaker down a little bit? I'm catching all kinds of feedback on myself there.
Oh yeah, Duncan is he's doing stuff on the lawn.
Okay, cool. Got it. Okay. So she catches fire in the second half of the season and makes it to the finals. And so in the meantime, it was kind of fun because as we got to deeper into the show and there's fewer contestants, you spend more time getting to know the contestants that are left. So we got to know more about Carla, and she made the hootie hoo call famous because she talked about her husband Matthew when they're in a grocery store and they can't find each other. One of them yells hootie and the other one yells who so that they can find each other. And that has become sort of her signature call since that time because she became a very popular chef on the show. She made it to the finals. She made it to New Orleans. She won a car there. She ended up losing in the final because she had a crisis of confidence, we'll call it. So, one of the things they do when you make it to the finals of Top Chef is that they have chefs from other seasons that will end up being your sous chefs. And so she chose Casey from season 3. And as far as I was concerned, Casey was overrated from the get go. And Casey spent way too much time, instead of listening to Carla Hall and seeing Carla Hall's vision, she um, ended up telling Carla what she should be doing. We should be doing this. You should be doing this. You should be doing this. And Carla just kind of listened to Casey too much and got away from her own style of cooking. And I believe it cost her the championship. So, stupid Casey should just shut up. Let Carla win. So anyway, stupid Hosea ended up winning, who was just milk toasty. Ugh, Hosea, really? Fish guy? Still bitter. Anyway, the good news is that even though she lost, she started getting a following. So she actually came back, and this sort of put her on the map. And she actually came back and did Top Chef All Stars in season 8. And again, she did really well. She became one of the finalists again. I think she ended up top 5 for that one. Um, but she ended up winning fan favorite that year. So again, her legend, the legend of Carla Hall, starts to grow. But this was really a game changer for her because after um, finishing Top Chef and doing a cookbook, she ended up as part of a group called on the show called The Chew. So you know how you have the daytime talk show The View. Well, this is like the cooking version of The View, except it was The Chew, and it was with Michael Simon and Clinton Kelly and Daphne Oz. And unfortunately, Mario Batali was one of the founders of this show. And that's one of the reasons it kind of took off because at this point, it's 2011. The celebrity chef thing is everywhere. We're starting to see knockoff shows. We're starting to see things like Chopped and all of these other cooking shows that are popping up. So this was the perfect time to start a cooking talk show. So it was like a daytime talk show. So Mario Batali and company started this show. They had Carla Hall, they had Michael Simon, they had Daphne Oz, and Mario Batali was on it until we found out that he was a complete dirtbag, and then they fired him. And so this show did well for itself until about 2018. Once they fired Batali and they found out what a dirtbag he was, the popularity of the show started to drop. But it was they would talk about cooking stuff, they would talk about food culture, they would talk about lifestyle. We would get to see Carla wearing the most awesome fashionable clothing because the woman has amazing taste because she was a supermodel. The woman knows fashion, and you can see it everywhere in terms of her look, her style, her fashion. She's one of the most stylish people I have ever seen, and I just love that about her. So she just looks amazing, and she embraces her fashion and her style, and I think it's awesome. So this is the show for people that made her a household name. So for those of us that watched Top Chef, which was a lot of people, we knew who Carla Hall was, but she was on TV for every day for 6.5, 7 years. This is the show that really put her on the map and really launched that next level for her. So, um, again, the legend of Carla Hall grows some more. So here she is. She's doing the chew, and as she's doing the chew, um, agreed, Heidi. She is very talented. Was never afraid to be herself, and that's one of the things that I think I loved about her most when she was on, especially that first season of Top Chef, is she was just kind of this. The Top Chef, especially because you're older, the older chefs tend not to be the cool kids. The cool kids are the young chefs and the hip chefs that they smoke and they drink and they party. And Carla didn't do any of that, so she doesn't drink. She doesn't party. She's not one of the cool kids, but was still 100% willing to be herself and never hid that about herself. And that's again one of the reasons that we love Carla Hall. Um, so she's written 5 best-selling cookbooks. She opened a restaurant in Brooklyn. We're going to talk about that. She's appeared on judges at numerous baking shows. She's hosted shows such as the Holiday Baking Championship and the Holiday Halloween Championship and the Worst Cooks in America and Best Baker Ever. And one of the things that we have taken away from Carla Hall is this idea that you cook with love, which was another one of her things that was really awesome about Top Chef, and that food should connect people, which has always been her mantra moving forward. Okay, so let's talk about um, her cookbooks. Like I said, she's done 5 cookbooks. Probably her signature cookbook, the one that she's best known for, and is probably the best of her cookbooks, is Carla Hall's Soul Food. And this is the one where she ties in not just her cooking, but she ties it in, and this is where we learn something about her history. So she look again. This is the tie-in to her Nashville upbringing, Black food history, Southern cooking traditions. We bring in her personal story, and it's her philosophy of cooking with love and community. So this is probably, if you're going to buy a Carla Hall cookbook, you should buy Carla Hall's Soul Food. I think this is the best one to start with. So, um, yeah, she's pretty remarkable in my opinion. All right, so let's talk a little bit about her first restaurant endeavor because um, this is a great lesson in you do things sometimes because you think you're ready and then you find out you're not and then you have choices after that. You could quit or you could learn from that experience. So in 2016, Carla Hall opened Carla Hall's Southern Kitchen, and it was her first attempt at opening a restaurant, and it did not go well. It opened in 2016 and then it closed in 2017. And so I read a really good article in I can't remember which magazine it was, but it was a great article that talked about 6 lessons that she got from opening this restaurant. So, if you're thinking about opening a restaurant, let us learn from Carla Hall. Number 1, fame doesn't guarantee success. So here she was. She's just coming off the chew, or she's actually still on the chew at this point. She's got all this Top Chef notoriety, and she actually did a Kickstarter to get money to open this restaurant. And she said that was a huge mistake. She used her fame to do the Kickstarter, and she said that in itself was a mistake because um, all of a sudden you had everybody in the world that had a piece of that and wanted a piece of it. And so that was one of the first lessons is that, she couldn't promote the restaurant because of her contract with ABC. She couldn't go out and get money like she wanted to because of her contract with ABC. So she did the Kickstarter thing, and it turns out that that was a huge mistake. Number two, as far as lessons that she learned, was that her location. She originally wanted to open the restaurant in Manhattan and could not afford the rent. So instead, she found a location in Brooklyn that they had really cheap rent. The problem was it was too far from everything. A, it was in Brooklyn. B, oh, hang on a second. I got to let my cat out. Hold on. Hold that thought.
Hold that thought. Hold the thought for Carla. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of Southern cooking
What can I
because
say? I'm a slave to my cat.
it's so
We've
easy
already
to
discussed this.
eat.
She wants to go out and explore. All right. So that was the thing. So here she is. She couldn't afford the rent in Manhattan, so she goes to Brooklyn. And then the problem with the Brooklyn location is that the nearest subway station was a 15-minute walk. So which is fine in the summertime, but nobody wants to. And she was too close to the water. That was the other thing she said, because nobody wants to walk 15 minutes when it's January and the wind is whipping off of the water. So that didn't work out either. The third lesson is that there's no such thing as enough time. She said one of the things that she did not do, and I totally get this, is that she was so busy with all of the other things going on in her life, with the tour and her books and the chew, that she did not spend enough time in the restaurant doing the things that she needed to do to make that restaurant successful. She relied too much on other people to do the things that she should have been doing. Number four, branding is not everything. So the people that were helping her were so worried about the branding and the potential franchise opportunities. They were so busy looking at the future that they weren't looking at the present. Instead of making that restaurant as good as it could possibly be as quickly as they could, they were already looking ahead because, again, it was one of those things where she was already famous and already banking on that fame to help her move ahead with the franchises and making it even bigger instead of making that one location as good as possible. Number five, staffing matters. That is one of the truest things ever. And she said they had too many to start with because they thought it would be busy, and it was. And then as things got less busy, they didn't have the right staff anymore. And when you're not making money and when you have to start cutting people loose and people get unhappy because you know, the way things, it's just the way it is. And again, when you turn your restaurant over to other people, you better have the right people in place. Otherwise, you're in trouble. And then the last one, experience counts, is that she didn't have restaurant experience and she did not have an operating partner. So not only did she not have restaurant experience, everybody that was working with her also did not have restaurant experience. And man, that hurt. So those things kind of bit her in the butt. And as a result of that, that restaurant lasted a year, which is about how long restaurants last, period. So um that was, I think, that was an important time for her. That became a time for her to learn some lessons. So here we are, Carla Hall today, starting another restaurant. And um again, she's released more cookbooks, has, has still kept herself relevant, is still making appearances. And so she decided to open another restaurant, this one in Washington, D.C. This is called Bumblebirds. Her focus is on fried chicken and cocktails. It opened recently in March 14th, and I believe it opened in the Capitol Hill area of Washington, D.C. It is an ode to Southern cooking and specifically her grandmother. Highlights include, and this menu looks amazing. It kind of makes me want to drive to Washington, D.C. just so that I can go and see this and eat there. Crispy fried chicken, country ham, crispy chicken skins, which almost made me cry when I read that. Flavorful sauces like hot honey butter, and desserts such as golden fried donuts. Mm,
Baby. Okay, I would
donuts.
like a chicken skin sandwich, please, in between two golden fried donuts.
I know, right? That sounds so good. Yeah, and so I'm rooting for her. I hope that these lessons learned mean that good things for her and her restaurant. Um, I just really want this to be successful. And even if there's only one, then let it be a pilgrimage. And see, that was the other thing that she talked about, when she said the problem with having the restaurant, her original restaurant in Brooklyn, was that you're not going to get the foot traffic like you do in Manhattan. And though we all love Carla Hall, we're scattered all over the country. And so, it's just one of those things where, yeah, you think how things are going to go, and then they go. So hopefully this one will go well. I'm rooting for her. I want it to be amazing. So see how it goes. Okay, so why Carla Hall matters to me? Many reasons. Number one, she reinvented herself multiple times. It goes back to what Jeff Hiller wrote in his book and what Bridget Everett wrote, um, that dreams don't have a deadline. That idea that you can start doing something in your life, for instance, being an accountant, and then change your mind and decide you want to model, and then be like, nope, this is not it. And then at 30, go to culinary school, and that at 44, stretch yourself out there and try for something like Top Chef. And then in your 50s, start a restaurant and watch it fail. And then in your 60s, do it again. So, one of the things I love about her is that she has reinvented herself and she's incredibly resilient. um, she broke barriers in food media, and I think this is especially important because um, women have to work 10 times harder than men to get half as much, and Black women have to do it 20 times harder to get half as much. So that's the truth when it comes to being a Black woman, that she managed to be successful in all of these endeavors, be it Top Chef, be it The Chew, be it books, um, be it personalities. So I think um, that is one of the things I love so much about her. Uh, Thanks, Heidi. I know she's amazing. Yeah, I just feel like being able to tell her story in this way was the best way to do it. Um, I think one of the things I loved about her from Top Chef is that she promotes kindness and authenticity, and that was from the very get go. One of the things I've always disliked about Top Chef is often the chefs themselves. Most of these guys that they bring on here are complete dicks. And one of the reasons I stopped watching Top Chef, I watched it pretty religiously till, I don't know, through season 9 or 10. And after that, I quit watching it because it just became who could be the biggest asshole and who could be the biggest dickweed in the kitchen. And I didn't want to watch that. One of the reasons I loved Carla so much, and one of the reasons I love the Great British Baking Show, is that there's positivity and there's kindness and there's love that's going into the dishes, which is the whole point, I think, of eating. If you're going to eat, do that. And so it gives you her approach to Top Chef was so appealing to me because she was not shouting and screaming at her teammates. She was a good teammate. She helped people fulfill their visions when she was doing things like Restaurant Wars and she was helping other people. She was just a really good teammate when it came to doing it. And as a result of that, we got to see her food rise and rise and rise and rise until she got herself towards the very end. Um, she's a great role model because we can see success doesn't have to be a straight path, that there's going to be, you know, roadblocks and there's going to be problems and there's going to be things that are going to be there are going to be setbacks, but you can still get there. Um, I really like the fact that she's really smart. Like I said, she was a graduate of Howard University. She was an accountant, and I just really think that you can see her intelligence in everything that she does, not just in the kitchen, but everything she's done outside of the kitchen. And I really love that she embraces her fans. She's not afraid of her fans, she embraces them. And I know this for a fact because by the purest, dumbest fucking luck, last April, I ran into Carla Hall on the Calhaven Trail on a walk. I was like, had just finished my walk. I turned around. I had walked a little bit. I was on my way back from my walk. I'd actually gone a little bit further. I had gone one way on the KVRT trail. I was on my way back. I'm like, you know what? I really need to get another half mile. So I extended my walk onto the Calhaven. And as I was walking back, this couple was walking towards me. And I looked up to say hello because I'm friendly when I walk. And I was like, wait a second. What? No. Are you kidding? And I was just like looking at her and she saw me looking at her and she smiled. And I'm like, are you Carla Hall? No. I'm like, what? And she's like, I am. I'm like, no way. So yeah, she was so friendly and gracious and laughed at me losing my shit in front of her. It was such a great moment that yes, Yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. There's the pictorial proof right in front of you that I, in fact, met Carla Hall on a walk in Kalamazoo, Michigan, just by the purest, dumbest of luck. So it was just one. Her husband was with her, Matthew, who was. He was so you could just tell he was like, here we go. But he was again. They took pic. She's like. She mentioned it. She's like, do you want to take a selfie? I'm like, with a picture. I'm like, yeah, 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 I do. Yeah, yeah, good idea. Yeah. So zero cool points for meeting Carla Hall, but like I said, she was so nice and gracious, and it was such a lovely thing to meet her. So that was that was a big deal. So
Mhm.
there you go. That's all I have to say about Carla Hall. She's awesome. I highly recommend her cookbooks. Again, one of the things that set her apart on Top Chef was her desserts. Is that she was one of the few chefs in that competition ever, as far as I can see, that could make a really good dessert. And so, um, ooh, you're Heidi, your dad met Muhammad Ali? That's
Clearly.
crazy. At Clear Lake? What? The heck was Muhammad Ali doing in Sturgis? God, that's so funny. So, I love it. I know. Yeah, she is extremely humble, and you can tell she just is just a good person. So, yeah, many reasons to like Carla Hall for sure. So, anyway, that's her story. That's why I'm entering her contest, because I would just like to hang out with her. She's one of those people where you're like, I just want to be friends. Can we please be friends?
Exactly.
I don't want anything. I just want to hang up with you, out with you, and have a cup of coffee and a piece of pie. I'm like,
Mhm.
honestly,
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
just kind of talk to you about your philosophy of life. So yeah, there you go, Carla Hall. And yeah. Uh, Anne, do you have any questions?
No, I mean, I'm not big into cooking shows. I'm not really big. I like it when people cook for me, and I like to go to restaurants. But I'm not a big cook myself. But that was one of my complaints that I have actually going to restaurants is the shitty dessert menus that they have. And I'm sorry, ice cream sundaes at a restaurant? No, that's not
Nope.
a dessert
Nope.
menu. That's a cop out. And so that was one of the things I did like about her was like, she didn't panic. And most people, when they were on Top Chef and they had to do desserts, they just panicked, and then they came out with something with fresh berries scooped on it, and you're like, what the
Cake
fuck is this?
pops.
Yeah, cake pops or ice cream. I was like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So anyway, so that was one of the reasons why I liked her is because she knew how to make a dessert, and that's my favorite part of the meal. So that's one of the reasons why I love Great British Bake Off is that
Nice.
because dessert. Yeah,
Dessert.
it's not the
Heidi, this is
70s
the
anymore. No ice cream sundaes. Thank you, Heidi.
yeah,
Exactly. I'm like, and
Heidi.
I love an ice
That's
cream sundae, but I go to, an ice cream place to get an ice cream sundae, and then I walk around with it like an American. I don't want to sit down at
right.
a fancy fucking restaurant and have them serve me an ice cream sundae. What am I, 7?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
that's what I
the
like about
brownie
going
with an
to.
ice cream scoop on top. It's,
Nope.
if I
Nope.
can
That's
do
what
it at
Dairy Queen's
home,
for.
doesn't count.
Yeah, that's what I like about the Brick and Brian in Kalamazoo. They have a
Hmm.
great dessert menu.
Amazing
They do
desserts.
unique stuff. Um, yeah, they do really interesting, out there, amazing stuff with all kinds of fun ingredients. And yeah, so Brick and Brian, keep doing the
Yeah.
job. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they're not
exactly.
serving me a
BQ is for
half
your
frozen, freezer burnt piece of cheesecake that's been in, that they've had that Gordon's food truck dumped out of the back in the alley. So,
yeah. If there's anything more disappointing than restaurant cheesecake, I don't know what it is. I
yeah,
don't know what it is. So
exactly,
yeah, so
exactly,
terrible.
exactly,
So
Heidi.
yeah,
You want ice cream sundae? Go to Dairy Queen. Amen.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Amen to that. All right, folks. I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would love to hear your questions, concerns, comments for sure. Thank you for spending another hour learning things about stuff with the Brother Sisters. Today, you learned all about Chef Carla Hall, or some of what. I mean, honestly, it's not all of it. I literally just scratched the surface. There's probably way more. But if you don't know who Carla Hall is, now you do. Remember, we would love to hear from you. For instance, Heidi, thank you for joining us today. You have a great week too. We'll be back
Thank
next
you.
week. In the meantime, you guys, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love you answer your questions, give us your questions, concerns, comments, and
Confessions.
confessions. That's right. Uh, remember, you can um, you can support us for free. All you got to do is like, subscribe, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Wait, speaking of music, Ann Brothers, I have to do this. Hold on. There it is. That's right, everybody. It's that time. But we would love it if you joined us next week when we talk about pygmy hippos. That's right. Ann and I are going to the zoo this week. We're going to go check out the pygmy hippo up at John Ball Zoo. So there you go. We're going to talk. That's right. Hippo time. Anyway, until next week, I am Janice Brothers, and with me is my sister. With me is my sister. There we go.
Sorry, I missed my cue.
Mr. Q because he was too busy dancing. Anyway, we want you to get out there, do something smart, do something dumb, do something fun. We are out of here.
Bye.